You asked me for an easy-to-follow tutorial for socks. As my preferred technique is working socks toe up, I'm going to show you how to knit my super easy boo-boo socks. What's with the name, I'll explain to you later. Cast on 1/4 of the total number of stitches appropriate for your size. For this video and for demonstration, I will work with a total of 32 stitches with thicker yarn than usual and needle size 5 mm, so that you can better see what I'm doing here. So I casted on 1/4 of 32, 8 stitches, and I'm working one wrong side row of purl stitches only, no edge stitches. And you see I'm working with 2 needles only. So purl stitches, 8 purl stitches, and one right side row, 8 knit stitches. No edge stitch, all the stitches are knitted. So one wrong side row after casting on, one right side row. Now turn your work upside down so that you see the cast on chain on top. Now with the second needle, pick up the front loop of this chain, of the cast on chain, and pick every loop on the needle. Only take the front loops. The last one is a little tricky. So that's the cast on. The starting thread is also the beginning of the round. Now you're working the first round. Just knit the stitches on both needles. Those stitches you just picked up are rather tight, but don't worry, that's just for the first needle. And Lucy is visiting us. Lucy always has to do some co-starring. If you happen to have one stitch less, then you just double the stitch before the last stitch. How you double stitches I'm going to show you soon. So this was the first needle, and the second needle is easier to work because those stitches are not as tight as those on the first needle. So first round ready, and now we start with increasing. We want to increase until we have double as many stitches. Now we have 8 and 8 stitches, and we want to increase up to 16 and 16 stitches. As we increase on both sides of the needle, to increase from 8 to 16 stitches, we need 4 increase rounds. Now half of it, 2 increase rounds, we knit subsequently, and we always double the second stitch and the stitch before the last stitch. And we double a stitch by knitting it through the front loop plus knitting it through the back loop. So this is our first increase round. we want to work 4 increase rounds, the first 2 after the other, double the second stitch and double the stitch before the last stitch. Knit in front loop and knit in back loop. So this was the first increase round, and we immediately knit the second increase round, double the second stitch and double the stitch before the last stitch. And you see I'm working the toe just with 2 + 1 needles. And the second needle, again double the second stitch and double the stitch before the last stitch. Now after half of our increase rounds, we knit 1 round without increases, a simple round of knit stitches. This will be a very pretty rounded toe with bands on the sides. And the second needle, no increases. So 2 rounds with increases, 1 round without increase, and then 2 times 1 increase round and 1 round without increases. I'm showing you the complete thing so that you may work together with me. So now this is 1 increase round again. That's the 3rd increase round. So if you would work for, let's say, 48 stitches in total, then you would cast on 12 stitches on 1 needle. You would start the toe with 24 stitches, and you would have 6 increase rounds. And in this case you would work 3 increase rounds, then 1 round without increases, and 3 times 1 round with increases and 1 round without increases. So always start with half of the increase rounds and then continue with alternating 1 increase round and 1 round without increases. So this is 1 round without increases. And this is the 4th round with increases. And you may count already. So this should end with 16 stitches on 1 needle. So increased from 8 to 16 stitches. We don't forget the 2nd needle. double the second stitch, and again double the stitch before the last stitch. Now you continue with one round without increases, and after that you add approximately 1/4 of the cast on stitches, as many rounds. So in this case I add 2 more rounds without increases before I start with the pattern. So 1 round without increases after the last increase round, and 2 more rounds without increases to cover your toes properly. Don't make the toes too short. So you see, this is the easiest toe I know, and I love it because it looks very pretty. It's beautifully rounded. So here we are, and we are going to knit our pattern up to the heel only on the first needle. So I'm dividing the stitches on the second half of the stitches to 2 needles. I want to knit the pattern on 1 needle on half of the stitches. Okay, here we are, and we are ready to start the pattern in our next video. Enjoy.